I am going to introduce our next beautiful speaker. So Lindsay and I were talking earlier. Lindsay Martin Ellis is our next speaker. And it seems this is a theme, the pivot. And I'm not sure what is on her heart this morning, but we were chatting through like all of these tech issues and so many different things that have seemingly in our own planning gone wrong, but actually everything always is working for us, right? The truth is we're all going to be okay. And this is like so true for anybody who's an entrepreneur who is going after it. And you're going to run into conflicts, right? You're committed, running into conflicts. And this is the beauty of it, right? It's required that we actually exercise trust, that we actually trust when those conflicts arise, that we're committed and we stick with it no matter what. And so I love how Stephanie was sharing on that, like how to plan that commitment in. And I'm so excited to hear from Lindsay. So beautiful Lindsay, she's an embodied intuitive somatic healer, spiritual teacher, a speaker, and a human design soul guide. She devotes her life, currently her life's work is empowering women to transform from the inside out. And so I want to turn the time over to you. Lindsay, how are you? How is everything going? We can't wait to hear from you today.
Hello. Well, first and foremost, can you hear me okay, everyone?
Yes.
First tech win of the day. Okay, so let me just tell you, if you don't know Isa, she is the real deal. So when she asked me to be here, it was a full body yes. And we have completely different experiences and kind of different filters and lenses, but ultimately it's a very similar approach to life, right? Which is like truly coming back to self, like the divinity, like whatever that connection is, right? That higher connection to self that is much bigger than just, us in our human form, is really reconnecting that and moving from that space. And that is why I believe we're all here, right? Alignment, which is really authenticity, right? Which is really like taking off the masks of, who we thought we were, like who we kind of were molded into, to really come back to our wholeness, to come back to our authentic selves. So I'm sitting here with no agenda today. I threw everything out the window because I'm on my husband's computer at the moment. There's a lot of breakdown happening in my tech and my business. And this is what I was relating to Isa. And why I want to share this is because the old me would be in such disarray and my nervous system would be so shot and I would be so nervous because my typical way of doing things are totally like the rug has been pulled out from underneath me. And I want to presence the realness of what it takes, right? To be in alignment, of what it takes to follow our hearts, because it's not about perfection and it's not about having all of the answers. And it's not about like, once you make it to whatever place you're desiring to go on the journey, that all of a sudden everything goes away, right? It's like what we do with what's handed to us, right? It's like what we do with the information. It's what we do with the things that are happening in our external environment, right? With relationship or tech, right? Or our business, or things are working, things that used to work aren't working anymore. It's almost laughable. And then I'll get into my story and all of the things. So within a 2-week period, my assistant that I've had for several years is transitioning out. She's got some personal things going on in her life and is, right, taking opportunities to, right, find her alignment, right? So what happens is I can still feel, right, the grief and the loss and the like, oh my gosh, this was working and I'm so sad. And I can be so excited for what's happening on her journey. This is what happens when we start to be able to focus out. So I had another team member has a family member in the hospital and she's now caregiving. My computer completely stopped working a couple of days ago. I feel like there were so many other things. Oh, my website. I just redid my website and switched servers, and all of my recent edits got lost that I spent 6 weeks working on over the last couple of weeks. Literally, like, everything's in breakdown. And when Isa asked me to do this, everything was working. I was like, yeah, I'm on fire. Mind you, I launched a podcast a couple of weeks ago. I'm in the middle of writing a book that's being published December 1st. I hired all of these new people. And within literally a couple of weeks, I'm now doing double the work. Things are completely up in the air. And I'm not afraid, because clearly I wasn't listening to the signs enough, or I'm at a stage on my journey that there is some deeper lessons here, some deeper exploration here as to there's something better, right? There's somebody that I get to bring into my life in terms of team, right? There's something that I'm not seeing because my focus was so narrow. And I really, regardless of where you're at on your journey, this is literally how it works. You get these gentle, like, hey, come over here. Hey, come back and course correct. Hey. And when you don't listen, or when you're like, yeah, I'm good, right? When you're so focused on like, nope, this is it, it gets a little bit louder. And what a gift. Like, what a gift. And what my recent podcast episode was about embracing the nonlinear path. And that's actually what I want to talk about today, because the path of evolution, the path of business, the path of what it means to be a human is nonlinear. And yet we are so conditioned to believe that it's like, just do this thing and you've got it, and that's it. And then you never have to do anything else again. And it's about our relationship with the journey. It's never about the thing. If you want to put in the chat, like, why are you here? Are you wanting to launch a business, right? Are you feeling isolated and disconnected and seeking community? Are you wanting clarity? Are you wanting to, make a 6-figure income, right? We always hear the things like, we hear the clickbait, right? But the reality is it's never about the thing. It's about the feeling that we think we're going to feel when we attain the thing. Not recognizing that that feeling is actually available to us in this moment. And it's who we become in the process of the journey, right? And what we do with the information that allows us more availability and capacity to be able to hold that. I'm on a new computer. I have a Mac. This is like, I literally am like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm going to say today. And the trust is so deep. The faith, me authentically sharing my experience of like, okay, I can do this. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to have all the answers. And what's amazing is I know that what I give to you is going to be so much more connected than anything scripted or anything that I would have planned for, because this is truly coming from the heart. And what's a beautiful thing, and I'll take you through a fun little practice shortly, is, in the journey, like when we can actually be in relationship with the journey, it opens us up to so much more fluidity, to so much more room for flow, for so much more that we wouldn't have been able to see if we were trying to get there as quickly as possible without feeling anything, right? Rushing, strong arming, using will. When we do that, there's so many things that we actually miss along the journey. And I truly believe that if all humans, regardless of if it has to do with entrepreneurship, really this can be applied to anything in life. right? When we're always striving for the thing and wanting the thing outside of us that we think is going to make us whole or feel better, right? Or fill a void, we're never going to feel satisfied. We're never going to feel alive, right? We're never going to truly be happy and fulfilled because we're always chasing the thing. And so the invitation, which I'll take you on a fun little journey that is a more visceral understanding, right? Of a practicality of like, yeah, okay, it is about the journey, right? But there was going to say, I'll just take you in the, like what happens along the way and who we become in the process. So let's see, I am here to show up for the one who I am meant to support in their life journey, hands and feet on the ground to support. Yes, yes, yes. All right, well, I didn't really share much about my journey. Environmental engineer. I've been an entrepreneur for, gosh, almost 6 years now. Had some health signs that were really coming up. And this is where I recognize I had very, very chronic, serious, debilitating health issues for most of my 20s. And it wasn't until 30, so for over a decade, it wasn't until 30 that I was like, I finally started listening to the signs, right? And I made a change. And what I did is I started to listen to, who am I? What do I even want? What is my body even craving? Like what will nourish me? And I essentially started over. I completely dismantled everything I knew about myself, what I ate, what I was consuming, how I was showing up, how I was working, how I was moving my body. I completely just like dissolved everything I knew about my identity. I was on medication. I was told at the time that I wouldn't be able to conceive a child, where it was a lot of hormone, a lot of adrenals, a lot of things were happening. And it was just this inner knowing like, I know that this isn't true. And I know how to reclaim my autonomy over myself, over my body, over my life. And that's exactly what I did. Within 6 months, completely healed all of my symptoms. I've been medication free ever since. And it started with a health journey that then turned into a, wow, I'm not fulfilled in my career, that then turned into a lot of emotional healing, that then turned into a whole connection with my spirituality that was completely disconnected. I was so disconnected from my body. I was so disconnected from feeling, and I can feel the emotions now because it was such a time in my life that I was really struggling. And these tears, right? Like, this is what I live for, because it shows me that I'm alive, right? It reminds me that I get to celebrate the journey. And I would not take any of that time. I would not change a thing. I would not take any of it back, because it needed to happen in order for me to be here. It needed to happen that way in order for me to recognize, like, this isn't me. This isn't what I came here to do. This isn't who I came here to be. And I simply kept saying yes. And so this isn't about like no broken bones and no broken hearts, right? Like, there's hurt in the world. But this is about what we do with the hurt. Can we feel it? Can we meet it? Can we touch it? Can we recognize? Can we lean in so that we can remove the armor around our hearts, right? So that we can begin to feel again, so that we know what is in alignment and what is not. That's simply it. And my ability to deeply feel is so, it's just beaming, right? And what we're doing as a society now, right, is we're so numb. We're so afraid to feel the thing that we go to the social media, right? That we look outside of ourselves for the answer. It's no right or wrong. We all have our vice, right? Where do we go when we feel the discomfort? But this is about being in it, because there's messages here, there's medicine here in what's coming up. Because when that happens, it's showing us the places within that we are not free. It's showing us the places that get to come up for our healing. So clearly, I thought that everything was going great in my business and I was on path and I called in all of this amazing team and everything was in alignment and I was in launch mode and I was going. And clearly that wasn't the case. Clearly there was still control, right? There was still perfectionism. There was still attachment. And so the intention of this is, can we be committed to our desires, but be so unattached to how it looks, right? So unattached to the steps that it takes. And what I assure you of is nobody knows more than you do what your North Star is, what your why is, who you came here to be, how you came to serve. But for, you know, those of us like Isa and Stephanie and myself and all of the other experts that are coming in, we're here to show you the door that's already there. Like, this is about you being like, oh, I feel this, right? But nobody cares more about your dreams than you do. Nobody knows more what's in your heart than you do. Nobody can feel that but you. And so we just have a few more minutes. See, and I'm so out of my like normal flow. Normally I would like ground us in, but this is where it's like, I'm trusting, right? Trusting in the process. So everything I do is around coming back to the body, because I believe our body is this sacred vessel that holds everything, all of this information. And we're so offline that I've noticed that when we can simply start to tap into our body and our feeling state and our emotions, it allows us to connect to presence, right? And it allows us, it shows us the information, it shows us what's coming next. So we can all just close our eyes for a moment. If it's possible to have your feet planted firmly on the floor. I believe I see, I hopefully I'm saying your name right, Bree, but just like, I just visualize, if you're on screen right now, just visualize you're sitting right next to Bree in this beautiful, I don't know, it looks like some tropical paradise, trees all around you. Wherever that safe space is for you out in nature, just feel your feet connected to the earth. You can either have your palms up in the receiving position, resting on your thighs, or you can have them anywhere on your body. Just asking yourself, do I need to give myself a little hug? Do I want to have one hand on my heart, one hand on my belly? Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Filling up your body with all of this new life force, prana, breath. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's energy. It's new energy, new life. Holding that at the top for a moment and then just exhaling out with sound, getting all of that stale, stagnant energy out of the body. Doing that again, all the way in through the nostrils, from the bottoms of your feet to the crown of your head. Setting that intention of just filling up your entire being with newness, with aliveness, with life force, with vitality, and exhaling out all of the parts and pieces and fragments of other people and other experiences that get to go back to their rightful place. Lastly, calling all of those parts back to yourself, filling up your entire being through the nose. Again, letting it all out, coming back to presence. Simply noticing a difference, the subtle difference from how you felt before we started this practice to how you feel now. Do you feel more centered? How does your heart feel? Do you feel the blood pumping through your veins? Do you feel the miracle that you are? Do you feel clearer? Maybe you feel the same today, and that's okay too. Can we be without judgment? Is it bringing up emotion? Is it simply just an observance? And now I want you to imagine that you're with Bree, right? You're in her backyard or wherever this magical place is. And all of a sudden there is this convertible that is inviting you to get in. So pick the color, it doesn't matter, right? You get out on the road, where are you? Maybe you're in the Pacific Northwest. Maybe you see, you know, the beautiful redwoods to one side and this beautiful coastline to the other. Maybe you're in the Amalfi Coast. Maybe you're just in your neighborhood driving around where you feel safe, where you feel present. And you notice this fork in the road and you go to the quote unquote right side. And at this moment, I want you to just bring into your awareness an intention, right? An intention, a desire, something that you're launching, some rocket of desire that you're launching that you want to bring into your life, perhaps as it relates to entrepreneurship. And the right side is that I'm going to get there as quickly as possible. Right? So you're speeding. Maybe now your nervous system is like all out of whack. Maybe you're nervous about cops, you know, doing radar. Maybe you're just feeling like, oh my gosh, I got to get there. I got to get there. You're not present. Maybe you can't even see the scenery that's around you. You can't even see the signs. Everything is just blurry. You're trying to get there as quickly as possible, quickly as possible, quickly as possible. And then you get to the exit, which is the thing, and you pull off to the side and you like, what did I even just do? Where am I? What did I see? What did I miss? Maybe you noticed an exit that was one of you. Go say hi to her. Maybe it's a family member and you're feeling empty. Just noticing what you feel, noticing what comes up. And then going back to that fork in the road, doing that reset and going to the left, which is the path of pleasure, which is the path of presence, which is the path of trust and faith. And maybe you're able to feel the wind, you know, blowing through your hair with this convertible. You feel the sun kissing your skin. You're able to breathe in the amazing oxygen that the redwoods or any of these trees are putting out. You can smell the ocean. Maybe you know, veer off and you're able to find some up with that friend or that family member. And you get off on the exit and you just tap in. You tap into that experience. You tap in to what you were able to call in, the experiences, the sensations, the memories, the emotions. Just being with that for a moment. And so my question to you is, right, which path would you choose? Would you choose the path where you don't really remember the journey and you don't really feel much and you miss most of the things that are happening along the way and the connections and the relationships and the experiences? Or would you choose the nonlinear path where you get to slow down, where you get to be in the journey, where you get to be in relationship with all of it? So just slowly coming back into this container. And I hope that this, you know, when you're having those moments where you wish things were happening faster and quicker, that you can come back to this practice, that you can come back to your body, come back to that moment of, right, when it's all said and done, right, what do I want to be known for? What experiences do I want to have? Do I want to be rushing my way through everything and getting there as quickly as possible? Or do I want to be in the experience of life? Because what I can assure you is in some of my deepest, darkest moments of pain and why me have been some of the most empowering and impactful and some of the most potent times in my life that catapulted me into something better, something greater, something more meaningful. So with that, I am complete. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Lindsay, thank you so much. I love how you shared or when we first started, something Lindsay and I have discovered, we do have different lenses, but we're essentially saying almost the exact same thing. So it's so cool that also our journeys have been a little bit parallel in many ways, and also reversed in parallel. And so I really believe that God brings people together for certain times and for certain events. And because there's potency and there's an impact and an impartation that's meant to happen when you're in the room. So y'all are in the room, even if you're listening to the replay right now, you're in the room. And so there is so much power in accepting what is in the moment, even though there's great pain with it, and to be able to feel it. And I believe it's one of the main things that we teach our clients is you got to feel this and make the pivots and be flexible, but like there's greater coming. It means there's an invitation for more. It means we maybe were so on our grind that we weren't paying attention to the little tiny nudges. And I think every human can feel that and know that right now. like what are the nudges right now that maybe you're experiencing that you're kind of wanting to put your head in the sand and ignore? What did anything come up for anyone? I would love to open the floor for a few minutes to ask questions to Lindsay, to maybe just share around your entrepreneurial journey. Laura just said she agrees with Bree, the discomfort brings the growth. And I don't want to experience that, LOL. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things with aligned entrepreneurship is we all want to be aligned, but before we go to the shop or wherever we're going inside of ourselves to get aligned, we have wear and tear. We have breakdowns because we're all of a sudden shaking, the wheel's shaking, and we're not where we thought we'd be, or things aren't going as smoothly. And so this is, maybe you can expound on like when we start to experience that, but we're so dead set on getting where we're meant to go, where we believe we're meant to go. How do we work through the discomfort? Like maybe share a little bit more on that, Lindsay.
Yeah. And what I know to be true is it's actually the resistance to feeling the discomfort that causes more discomfort. It's like the energy inside of us, the sensation, the emotion, what we're so afraid to feel is again, like when we allow ourselves to move that energy, that's when everything opens up. So that it's really that simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so anything that you can do to disrupt the pattern, right? Like anything rhythmic, so dance, breath, moving. Anytime I finish anything like with a task, right? Anything that when I finish anything in my business, it doesn't matter if it took me 5 minutes or 50 minutes, I get up and I move the energy. I do something different, because when we're in autopilot mode, we certainly can't, right? We're certainly not in a place to, be in a position to like be able to focus out. So it's truly the choice. It's, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this. And it's about allowing yourself to feel, not making yourself wrong for it. Right. So that you can then be the observer of like, what's underneath that? Ooh, okay. I've been here before. Anytime this happens, this is where I go. So that you can then, right, be in the, like, I allow myself to be exactly as I am, which then catapults you into potentiality, like the clarity, what's coming next. Right. And then I just celebrate. That's literally the steps through it. And it never goes away. And so the more that we can be in relationship with our wholeness and all of the emotions that come with the human experience, the less we like, the more I'm like, ooh, discomfort, like I'm here for it, because I know that there's a breakthrough. I know that there's more evolution. And I know that the deeper I feel that discomfort, the more I feel the bliss and the ecstasy and all of the things that I know I deserve as a human, as a being. So I hope that
So
supported
good,
you, but
Lindsay.
just trust yourself, tune in, like have a dance party, get some fresh air. You know what's best for you to kind of break that discomfort pattern.
Totally. And I love that you said celebration, because I actually write celebration onto my to-do list every day, like in big capital letters, like celebrate. whatever happened that day, big win, small win, you're here, you're breathing. It's exciting to be alive. Like, celebrate. It breaks off so much of the meh, meh, meh. And as risk takers, as entrepreneurs, we're the risk takers. We need that. We need that energy to propel us. So thank you, Lindsay. I'm so, so grateful for you. I'm going to post your quiz link in there again. If you have another link you want to share, go for it if you're feeling led to share anything with the group. But on that note, I'm so grateful for everything that you just imparted. And if you have any questions for Lindsay, just pop them in the chat right now.